What up, big perms? I mean, big worms. So, got a GR video today. I got a 1990 Chevy 3500. Doing the rear brakes on them, and I made a few key mistakes on the other side, which took me a lot longer than I should have. But hopefully, this video will post maybe some recommendations as far as what not to do, and help you out when you're doing yours. So I'm gonna pull off the tire. All right. So on these, they have this basically big old drum over there, but you got to take all these bolts out, and then this shaft comes out, and that's the only way to get this drum off. So that's what we're gonna do next, is take all these bolts out. So depending on how old your rig is, they probably have never taken these out, so they're kind of a bitch. You have to, I basically use this big ass breaker bar so I could get to them. So I put obviously some penetrating oil or whatever first, but I didn't have time to let it sit overnight. So just kind of go through each one of them and you'll get them off. But all right, so I got the bolts out. So basically this little centerpiece is kind of loose now. I use something just to catch you're gonna lose some rear end oil. Another thing I didn't note at the beginning is I tried jacking it up as much as I could here, so I could get basically it to lean toward the other side, so I don't lose as much oil. But you're still gonna lose some, so I would have something to catch it. This whole shaft will just kind of slide out, and you can feel it when it pops out. It's got grooves on the end of it, so you can kind of feel it when it pops out, and then you just kind of pull the whole thing out here, and you got it. In order to get everything out, what you have to do is, there's a little pin, kind of a round pin that goes around, and you'll see it. A little pin out of here, you can see it. It's this guy right there. This little guy right here comes right out. Don't lose this guy, right? So basically that's what holds this other little kind of holder. Is this little square, I don't even know what to call it. And again, I used a little screwdriver along with some needle nose pliers, and it's right in the center here. This guy right there, it needs to come out in order for you to take this entire bolt out right here. So I'm gonna go grab some needle nose and take this guy out right there. Okay, so you gotta kind of play with this little nut a little bit. It's gonna be either too tight or too loose, so you kind of gotta hit it up or down depending on which direction you need it to go. But this little center kind of holder pin right here comes out. So that's what's actually holding this guy in place. And once that's out, now you can reverse thread it and get this nut out of there, and that's gonna free up your whole hub, and you can just pull it out after you do that. So careful with this pin, don't lose it. I put everything kind of together in a little holder, obviously. Not a mechanic, but just a DIY guy. And like I said, I learned a few lessons from the other side. So I'm gonna take this nut off, take the drum off, and then I'll show you the big things as far as doing the drum brakes, which was obviously a pain in the ass. Nobody likes doing that anymore, but there's some things that'll save you a ton of time on this one. So see you guys in a bit. Just kind of take this guy and keep reverse threading. I'm sure there's a handy dandy tool for this, but I don't have it, so old school in it right here. So that comes out. This big ring just kind of comes out full of grease and oil. Throw that in your pan. Now your whole drum should actually be free. As you can tell, now it's kind of pulling out there. So I'm gonna need both hands because this thing is freaking heavy, and I'm gonna take it out and I'll show you guys what's up at the end. All right, man, so I got the drum off. The brake drum and the wheel assembly looks like, I don't know, it looks like it's one unit, but I think it's actually two. But I don't see an easy way of like taking those apart if you ever had to like redo the bearings and stuff like that. So kind of a pain in the ass. So hopefully that never happens to me, but never know. So once you get it off, here's your big ass drum assembly. You got some pretty big springs in there. It's pretty standard, nothing huge, but you will want to get your special little tool to put these little, I don't know what you call those little springs right there. They got the little cap that kind of twists and turns into it. So there's a special little tool that you use. Normally a guy, you know, DIY guy, kind of just puts some pliers on there, but these brake drums are so damn heavy that it's just a pain in the ass. So you want to get that tool. You might want to get that, I know they make a little tool where you stretch out these, you can, you know, use it to guide and stretch out these springs. Some of those tools are nice too. And then, so what you really want to make sure you do is don't take off this damn emergency brake cable. Normally I would, because I take them all apart and do all my assembly out of here, but there's an emergency brake cable that you don't want to take off, because that is the worst freaking thing ever. On the other side I did it, I made a huge mistake, took me forever to put back, had to actually get somebody else to help me so I could use a few hands and get it back connected. So don't do that. When I'm there, I'll show you how to actually leave it there and put it back together. So that's that. I'll be back. Alright man, here it is right here. So again, as I mentioned earlier, this fucking stupid cable right there, this back one, back here, is connected to this bracket which engages your handbrake. Pretty standard, right? So anytime I've ever done drum brakes, I just take that off and it's pretty easy to slip back on. You can, I don't know if you could see it at all, but there's a little spot where it kind of slides into a groove. Well, this spring has so much damn tension that you can't pull it. It's so difficult. So later on, I thought, I was like, man, I shouldn't have taken that bracket off. So the key is this little pin right here. Take that guy off while it's on the truck still and remove it from the brake pad, so you don't have to mess with that handbrake thing. So essentially just remove this little pin. This will, you can punch it through with a hammer or something like that, and it removes this bracket back here from your brake pad, and you just leave it there hanging. When you bring your new brake pad, just assemble it right here, put the pin back on, and you're good to go. I literally spent fucking hour or something like that messing with this stupid spring. But anyway, that's the best advice I have for you in this project. Make sure you do that. Buy the tools for this guy, and the rest is history. I think it's pretty standard from there on.